What is up, guys, and welcome back to episode 16 of our So Rare Road to our first unique series. And today we are going to be building our lineups for the upcoming game week, going through my tactics and how I pick my players. And just before I get into the video, please make sure to like and subscribe. And if you have any questions about anything that you see in the video, just let me know in the comments below. Let's get into the video. Right, so we're going to build our lineups for game week 389. We're going to just delete any teams which we've already got in there, which we have. We always start with, currently anyway, cap 240. And this is quite an easy selection process in terms of keeper here for me. Sean Johnson is still with the USA national team. They got through on penalties against Canada. So we're going to whack Bradley Stuver in goal. He is at home to attack Kansas. Yeah. Annoyingly, his L15 has gone up quite high, which makes it a little bit more tricky. I would always try and pick the keeper with the lowest L15, just because it makes it easier to pick players and gives you a little bit more sort of freedom, really. And with the keepers anyway, you're sort of hoping for a clean sheet. So yeah, the sort of lower the L15, the better. But yeah, in this case, we've only got one option, and we'll stick with Stu there. I don't think he'll keep a clean sheet in that game. Kansas have quite a good forward line. But yeah, if he can get some decent AA, that'd be nice. Let's have a look at our defensive options. Brooks Lennon has a good home matchup, but he's really high on the L15. Boxall, a difficult game. He is at home, but against LAFC, probably want to try and stay clear of that. Maxime Chanot is away to Philly. Once again, not the best matchup. Lovitz away to Cincinnati. Not the best. Both these cards, well, actually, all three of these bottom cards here I've currently got listed up. I'm not sure if Kamajima's going to carry on starting. So I think we're going to have to go with Tim Parker here, who is at home to Inter Miami, which is quite a good matchup. And really, all of the St. Louis players play better when they're at home anyway. So I think going for him is quite a good option there, and he's also quite low on the L15. Then looking at the midfield, we've got a few decent options here. Westwood has quite a good game against Montreal. Unfortunately, he is away from home, and he hasn't been the best recently. His scores, I believe, have dropped off the last couple of weeks. I've had him in a few lineups, and he's sort of getting carried a little bit. Yeah, the last two, well, even like 3 out of the last 4 games, 32, 35, 31, is obviously quite low. Hopefully he can get back to these sort of scores here. But yeah, it is a little bit worrying that. We then got Chara, who is at home against Crew. I mean, at home is obviously good. The bad point is that Crew have been scoring quite a lot of goals. I think they might have even scored the most in the league. So clean sheets probably not going to get any, and may lose quite a lot of points from goals conceded. Pereira is away from home. A nice low L15 on him. But similarly to Westwood, his scores are just a little bit weird. It's sort of a gamble when you play him recently. There's a few like really good scores here, like 81, 51, 60, 50, like great for cap 240, not for other game modes, obviously. But then sort of sprinkled in with that, you've got a lot of lower scores. So yeah, away from home against Atlanta, maybe not the best option. Bedoya is an interesting one at home to NYC. He's someone that has just come back into the team recently after injury, and yeah, his last few games have actually been quite good. 47, 46, and 60 in his last three. Started all of those games as well. He did get booked last time. Interesting to see if that's him suspended. Probably isn't, because he got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm not too sure if he. I would have thought he would have missed a game here after 5 bookings, but I'm not sure what the rules are on that. I have to just double check that he isn't suspended, but he could be quite a good option at home. He does obviously have a game during the midweek, which I believe is going to be played later on this evening, so we can see if he starts here or not. But yeah, if he's healthy and not bad, I think he's probably the best option here. So we'll whack him in for now, and that gives us quite a bit of room on the cap as well. Then for the forward position, we only really have three options here. Kyoto is out injured, Chicharito injured, and Molino injured as well. So we've got a selection choice out of Ramirez, Corey Baird, and Fafa Pickout. Christian has been very, very good for us. He's got probably the second easiest game against Portland. And yeah, I believe that Cucho is suspended, so he should be the main man up front. Corey Baird has quite a good matchup away at the Rapids. Sometimes his minutes are a little bit iffy. Sometimes they'll bring him in off the bench with like half an hour left to play. So that is something to consider there. And then Fafa has just come back from international duty. I believe he came off the bench in his last game. Obviously, they've got the midweek fixture and then the weekend fixture coming up. So we can keep an eye on his minutes. Obviously, the L15 here is nice and low, and his forward card scores quite well in terms of AA. So he could be an option if he doesn't start during the midweek. I'll be more confident to actually play him, but since he is still quite a difficult game, so I think here we're going to go with Ramirez. And then in terms of the extra, that leaves us with 56 points. We've got a little bit of freedom there. Annoyingly, Roxana is obviously out of our price range. We then have Boxall at home, Shano, Lovitz. This could be quite a difficult selection choice. I don't really like any of those higher L15 players there. Out of all of them, Shano has been the most consistent recently, but he is then playing against my mids. What we could look at doing is if Bedoya plays during the midweek, then the chance of him playing on the weekend might be a little bit lower. So we could swap him out for Chara. I know obviously that means he's then playing against Ramirez, but we'll roll with that. And then yeah, we're sort of stuck in this position when we've got a little bit of cap left. So we may have to go for Bedoya and Chara. That leaves us with 10 on the cap, which isn't great. So there's probably a little bit of tinkering here which needs to be done. I'm going to be signing a few new players, which I'll make a video on probably Thursday or Friday this week. And we can then hopefully try and fill that cap up a little bit. But for now, this will probably be our lineup moving into the weekend. And I think it's always useful to talk through the MLS Amateur as well. I know a lot of people that are obviously new to Sorare, so it's good to just sort of go through my thought process and how I pick players, and hopefully that will give some people a little bit of help when starting Sorare for the first time. This mode is completely free, so it's great for people that are just starting Sorare. In goal, we're going to go for Berkey. He is at home against Inter Miami, a good matchup, and yeah, his scores are just much better when they're playing at home. Steve Clark does have a good matchup, but it is not at home. So yeah, I think we'll just go for Berkey here. And then defender-wise, we have got Claudio Bravo at home to Crew or Escobar away at Rapids. This one's quite close. Bravo hasn't really put up great scores, and I'm a little bit worried about the Crew forward line. So even though Escobar is away from home, I think we'll just lean towards that. Ryan Gold is up next. A really good matchup for him at home against LA Galaxy. I think he'll probably be the captain as well for me. Capetti, I believe, is injured. So that makes the selection quite easy for Dennis Bwanga. Not the easiest game away at Minnesota, but I would still expect LA to come through that quite comfortably. And then our extra here will be Haney Mukhtar, who is away to Cincinnati. The best matchup by far is going to be Ryan Gould, so we'll captain him. And yeah, I mean, all of these players have that chance to actually spike and get a big score, which is what I like to see. I haven't actually won anything in the MLS Amateur yet, but we have been close. We've been, I think, around that sort of like 20-point mark. But yeah, hopefully this 5 can finally get us a card, and yeah, it'll be nice to actually win something rather than just constantly being out of the cards in the MLS Amateur. This game week may also be a opportunity for me to play cap 270 instead of cap 240, because obviously, as you just saw, my team doesn't really fit into the cap very well, like a little bit under. There's some players that are obviously quite high in L15 that I can't fit in, so we could enter in a lineup something like this into cap 270. It'll be basically be the same players, but we can add a little bit more firepower with Brooks Lennon and Lovett, so they're both capable of scoring big from fullback. So it could be that during this week we actually focus on cap 270 rather than putting this lineup in cap 240 and targeting the east. As always, guys, thank you very much for watching today's YouTube video. If you have any questions, once again, make sure to pop them down in the comments. Make sure to like and share, and we'll see you for tomorrow's video.